Hi, and welcome to your favorite channel where you can know all about your favorite book in a blink. If you like this content, remember to like and share it with all your friends and family and everyone who's interested in knowing all about great books. So, let's dive in.
That Sounds Fun. By Annie F. Downs. In a book about fun, Annie F. Downs keeps her tone light and exciting. Her voice is authentic as she shares personal stories, using her own journey as an inspiring example for her readers. Although she showcases ways to embark on the life-changing journey of coming to terms with inner fears and struggles, she deals with the matter lightheartedly, finding the bright side to every negative experience. Through elaborate stories, she teaches readers how to light the spark of fun during times when their hearts might be weary. As we go through life, we often long for a simpler time when we felt whole. As grown-ups, we feel as though we have lost our way back to Eden, to the peace we knew when we had not yet been hurt and disappointed by life and its difficulties. In That Sounds Fun, 2021, Annie F. Downs guides us back onto the path that leads to Eden through one simple three-letter word: fun. Although the sky may appear cloudy, we can always shine our own light and create rainbows. Downs reminds readers of the joy of being an amateur, the power of falling in love, and the need for everyone to lose themselves in a hobby that makes them feel alive. Insights from chapters 1 to 3. As we grow older, we start to feel something lacking. We begin feeling as though we have lost something along the way, and sometimes this feeling persists through everything we do. Although we laugh, our hearts are weary. We feel as though we lost something because we have gone through experiences that take us away from Eden. As youngsters, we were not worried about being hurt. We were not scared of losing the people we love or moving away from familiar places. We were at peace. Going through life and experiencing its hardships makes us feel as though we have lost Eden, and that is where our search for fun begins. Fun is about more than simply having a laugh. It is about being in the present and returning home. It is a deeper quest. It is a search for simplicity and peace, to return to that moment in childhood when we felt connected and whole. Fun can be found anywhere, and it's important to look for it in simple things on days that feel too dark. God will always reach down and give you a gentle pat on the back in kind ways when you feel like you need something to lift you up. If you are sick of the outside world, something as small as going to the movies and forgetting what exists outside the theater can be fun. Fun can be found anywhere, whether it's a movie or fried food. Insights from chapters 4 to 6. In today's world, we are always thinking of ways to become professional at what we do. We begin considering ways of making money from a skill or hobby as soon as we begin practicing, ruining the fun of something simply done in leisure time. We must remember that being an amateur can be fun. You do not have to worry about being a professional, you simply engage in an activity because you love doing it. When you embrace being an amateur, you enjoy the process of practicing your skill. You stop waiting until you get to the result, being a professional, and you enjoy doing the activity in the moment regardless. Annie F. Downs started her podcast as a total amateur when a friend asked her if she wanted to interview Ted Dekker, a writer of Christian mystery, thriller, and fantasy novels. She was a fan, so she said yes. Annie then began setting up her own interviews simply because she enjoyed it, embracing the journey of being an amateur. Annie had worked with her assistant Eliza for 4 years before they decided it was time to part. They had spent many exciting moments together and were in constant contact every week, even on weekends. Bringing fun into their last few days together, Eliza and Annie headed to Disneyland and went on rides together. Annie cried, feeling grateful while knowing all things must end. The secret to having fun is knowing that nothing lasts, even the things you enjoy. You don't go on a roller coaster ride wishing it would never end. All things end, and that is what brings variety to life. Embrace all emotions, whether negative or positive. Insights from chapters 7 to 9. All things happen for a reason, and if you wait through the bad parts to get to the fun parts, life always has something to offer. Annie was invited to Dollywood by her friend Amber, who was working on the public relations team of a film. Annie was supposed to be an extra on set, so she brought her friends along to participate as well. At first, the trip felt slightly disappointing. Annie and her friends were never called to the set. They sat in a cafe waiting for their turn while other people were being called. It was not until Annie decided to text Amber that things began looking up. Amber apologized and invited Annie and her friends to join her where the PR team was standing. They had a blast. Annie was also allowed to take pictures, unlike the other extras, because she was considered a PR team member. The best way to have fun is to always fall in love. As we grow older, we become increasingly afraid of falling in love. We start refusing to show any vulnerability, assuming that things will always go south if we let our guard down. The fun in falling in love comes with feeling alive. When you are in love, you feel strongly, whether you've fallen in love with a person, a hobby, or a pair of shoes. Being in love makes you feel alive, even if it hurts sometimes. Feeling pain is a reminder that you're alive. Do not hold your love back, numbing your feelings and pulling away from fun. You've been hurt before, and you're still alive. Being hurt allows you to grow and see the world through a mature lens, so take the risk. Do not be afraid of digging deep into your wounds and finding the true source of pain within you. This will change your whole future for the better, even if you temporarily come apart. Do not postpone the things you want to do. Do not postpone your dreams until you're under certain circumstances. If you want to buy a house, buy it now. Do not wait until you get married. You never know what will happen in the future. Invest in your present. Insights from chapters 10 to 12. Fun doesn't always happen instantly. Sometimes, you need to build up to fun. Sometimes, you need to fall in love slowly. Good things aren't always instantaneous, they can be built. Annie bought a house even though it did not feel like love at first sight when she first explored it with her agent. It took her quite some time to warm up to her new space. Annie tried to have better memories in her new house. She realized that it fit her perfectly. She began loving her kitchen when she put in the effort to cook in it and have fun in the space. Although Annie had never liked cooking because of her restrictive food allergies, she was able to find a fun way to cook, taking the time to enjoy the process of making a proper meal. She went back to her cookbooks and perfected her soup-making skills. She always had soup made, whether she stored it in the fridge or gave it away for others to enjoy. This made the process fun. We often wear a mask of the face we think others want to see. We put on the best version of ourselves, transforming ourselves into an archetype that must always be consistent. We want everyone to have the best experience of us there is. Sometimes we wear a mask without realizing it. We may feel like the image we are trying to portray is indeed authentic, but it is still an image we are trying to portray, not an image which we reflect naturally. When we pay attention to the way we come across to others, being authentic becomes very difficult, and we feel drained as we try to maintain a positive image of ourselves. When we let go of the need to have a consistent identity for everyone we meet, we begin acting authentically and being present in every moment, without feeling strange in our own skin. We are then able to truly have fun. Tattoos are a fun way to remind yourself of the things that matter, and to have fun. The only tattoos Annie ever got were those that meant something profound to her, a light she could shine in the darkest moments of her life whenever she glanced at them. The last tattoo Annie got was "Savor This," written in the handwriting of both Annie and her friend. Annie wrote "Savor" while her friend wrote "This." The tattoo reminded Annie never to rush through any emotion or phase in life. If she was feeling sad, she learned to savor the feeling because it meant there was something to be learned. If she was happy, she learned to savor the feeling without holding on too tight. Insights from chapters 13 to 15. There are places which always remain within our hearts, which we always enjoy revisiting. Not all places which hold memories are places we wish to revisit, though. Sometimes those places die, and we should allow them to fade. When Annie tried to revisit her childhood church, she did not feel anything special. She simply had lost the spark she had for that place even if she was fond of the memories. There are places which we think we have lost but can be revived. These are the places we once loved before having had within them a painful experience. These places can be saved. Annie used to adore going to Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, until one evening she attended a concert which she did not enjoy, accompanied by a man with whom she later had a falling out. After that experience, the auditorium did not feel the same. Annie revived her love for the place by revisiting it despite having had a negative experience. She healed her wound by creating new positive experiences there. Some things are not meant to last. Some things are just meant to come into our lives to teach us something, to give us a piece of information that was missing. When Annie adopted her first dog, she experienced a kind of love she never felt before. She realized she could love deeper than she thought was possible. Although Annie turned out to be allergic to her adopted dog and was forced to hand her to another family, she cherished the lesson the dog had taught her about herself. Insights from chapters 16 to 18. As we grow up, we stop doing things just for fun. We grow busy and we lose sight of the things that used to spark passion in our hearts. We gravitate only towards that which is practical, towards that which could bring us income or help us get things done. As adults, we forget the value of things done simply for enjoyment. We may give up on the hobbies we have because we do not have time. But the truth is, when you get yourself a hobby, you start having more time than you ever did. When you have something you truly enjoy doing scheduled, you start making more time for it. You begin creating time for doing the things you actually love, letting go of tasks you never liked doing and adding more fun to your life. Hobbies take us back to a simpler time when we felt at peace. They give us another chance to glimpse Eden, to go back to a time we were present in the moment and had strong ambition. They allow us to take things slower, enjoying and savoring the moment. Do what you love regardless of whether others like it or not. Do not gravitate solely towards what others think is cool. Stick to what you enjoy no matter what. Insights from chapters 19 to 21. No matter your age, you can always go back to a hobby you used to do that you still love. And you can always find something new you'd like to try. Hobbies are not always easy to do. They are not always something simple that doesn't require any effort on your part. Hobbies can be challenging, which makes them even more fun. Annie hired a soccer coach when she was in her 40s, attempting to revisit her love for soccer. Annie hated most forms of exercise, so she rarely engaged in physical activities. After attempting to make working out fun by choosing something she wholeheartedly loved regardless of the norms or the odds, Annie began exercising more and making time for her soccer practice. She was able to free herself up to do something she truly loved. Insights from chapters 22 to 23. We need to chase fun regardless of our circumstances, especially in today's age. Make a haven for yourself where you can retreat no matter the external circumstances. When Annie had to go into lockdown after being in contact with a friend who tested positive for COVID-19, she had to look for the fun in the corners of her own home. Annie was able to transform her front porch into her own haven, renovating it and spending most of her time outside, chatting from a distance with friends who passed by. She found the fun out on the porch, a space she cherished. The porch became the space she could always return to and enjoy, no matter what happened around her. We hope you enjoyed this book brief on Annie F. Downes's That Sounds Fun. Purchase the book to learn more. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.